coming out on a nice sunny Murray, Kentucky day. Since we talked last time, we went up to Evansville and really disappointed in our effort. Just really started off the game pretty well, and then I thought with a 7-0 lead that we completely lost focus to what we're trying to accomplish. And our players said all the right things leading into that game about not overlooking them because we had blown them out at our place earlier in the year. And we certainly stressed the difference, a game can make between a home and home with a team. We had just lost to St. Louis at their place and then turned around and handled them pretty easily at our place. And, we went up to Evansville and players were saying the same thing. But when you go back and analyze and watch the film, there's just a complete lack of effort on the entire day, really from every player on our team over the course of the 40 minutes. And it was very disappointing. The good thing about it was the players were extremely disappointed. And when we got back to Murray and, we started practice, and they're kind of on Robb Island, and we're kind of having Camp Cross right now and treating it like a training camp. And their attitudes have been great. They came back. The first practice was very intense and very difficult, very long and hard for what we do, and had great attitudes. They seem to have come together a little bit, and I'm hoping that this is, from that adversity, we can grow as a team, and it can kind of be a catalyst for what we try to do as we prepare for conference play. And, this week we have the week off as we practice and prepare for Ole Miss. Go down and play an SEC team with great athletes. It's playing well right now, except for their game the other day at Miami, but that can happen to a lot of people at Miami. And then a Cleveland State team that's going to be tough to handle, that's starting to get all their components together here the last few games and return a lot of players off a very good 20-plus win team from last year. But our focus right now is getting our team better and preparing for conference play. Any questions?
Just noticed that the three-point shooting stat, is there a point that you'll pull back or change that?
Well, one of the things, and what's happened the last few games, if you look at it, when we've shot more threes, the last couple of games, especially at Evansville the other day, we were very hesitant to shoot it. We're not shooting a good percentage, and some people will not be in the position to shoot them as quickly. Okay, but if you look at our effective field goal percentage when we were shooting 35 to 40 something threes, our effective field goal percentage was still pretty good because of the fact that we were outscoring our opponents so much at the three-point line. So that one stat, there's a huge differential between our makes and our opponents' makes, and we're not shooting a good enough percentage. And there's certainly no secret to that, but part of it is the style that we're playing. Now, the thing that needs to happen more is teams are starting to take that away, and their teams are flying at us on the three-point line. And the second half of the St. Louis game last week, we really attacked the basket when they did that, and we got to the free throw line a lot, 28 times in that game. And that's what has to happen. And right now, we're not shooting free throws well either, and that's really been the difference in our season right now is the free throw shooting. If we're a 70% free throw shooting team, which would be the worst free throw shooting team that I've had here at Murray State, we would probably be 6-3 at least. And I can count 3 games that just making 2 or 3 more free throws changes the outcome of the game. And our free throw shooting has been atrocious. We're at 58% and completely unacceptable. And we're certainly working on it. We're working on it more than we ever have, as a matter of fact. And that's the thing I would like to see change. And that the three-point shooting, like I said, some people are going to be limited in what they do. We certainly don't want to take any contested threes. But you've got Mariah Robinson shooting it poorly. I can't tell Mariah Robinson she doesn't need to shoot the open shot, and we just got to make sure that we put her in position to make shots, and she's got to stay in her shot and finish things.
You figure the law of averages will come around with her, especially.
Well, you would think, and there are a couple others that are not shooting it well that have shot it well in the past year, and and then there are a couple that we've given the opportunity. They've had their three-point license. They've shot it well enough in practice and drills and they've had the opportunity to shoot it, and now that'll be curtailed a little bit.
How do the players respond when you question their effort for you?
Well, if they honestly believe they gave the effort, they probably wouldn't like it too much. I don't think there's a single person on our team that could look anybody in the eye and say they gave effort last Saturday. Do they give effort on some possessions? Yeah. Everybody on the team played hard some possessions. But there's not a single person that played hard every possession. And the way we play, it really does us no good if three people are playing hard and we trap the ball and one person rotates the way they're supposed to rotate and the other two people are being lazy that possession, we're going to give up a layup. And that's the bottom line. And if one person out of the five on the floor is not playing hard, then they may as well all not be playing hard. What they have done in practice the last couple of days is they've responded very well and they've played extremely hard in practice. So hopefully when we get in a game, they'll play. It's the first game that I can say they gave no effort. Ball State, I was a little disappointed in the effort, but we played hard at Louisville. We didn't compete really with Louisville, but we played extremely hard. We're diving on the floor and after loose balls, down 40 with 30 seconds to go. I was not disappointed in effort. Saturday was completely an effort thing. Give Evansville a lot of credit for taking advantage of that and putting us in that situation. But, all you can control is your effort. And what you can't control whether you make shots or not. Sometimes you can do everything right and the ball just not go in the basket. But, the effort has to be there. Or you can't play the style we're playing. It's all predicated on effort.
You guys have done a lot of traveling already. Talk about the trip to Mississippi.
Well, one good thing about it is, we get a chance to have several days to work on things before we head down there. Mississippi's a great recruiting area. We've already signed a player this fall from Oxford that, we're excited about, and we're excited about that area. And playing against an SEC opponent in their gym is certainly something that will, give us a challenge. And we've already had that in the Big Ten at Indiana, and should have won that ball game and then going to play a top 10 team like Louisville from the Big East. It'll be exciting for our kids to get a chance to see what they've accomplished this week against a very good Ole Miss team. We'll certainly have our hands full with their size and athleticism. And it's just a chance for us to get one final time to be together as a team and grow more before we go into Christmas break.
I know you like, having this travel-heavy schedule to start. You've done it the past 2 years, like Devon, but, is there the risk of going into conference play with very little?
No doubt about it. And and I don't really like to have this travel of a heavy schedule, Dusty. I don't think anybody would prefer that. Next year we'll have several more home games because we're playing away this year. I would prefer they all be at home, to be honest with you. I'd prefer to be like a lot of the BCS teams and have every game at home. And we've certainly been a different team at home than on the road. What we focus on really is we try to make sure they stay focused on the process. And, the entire season is a process leading towards the conference tournament and towards conference play. And, we just have to hammer that point home. And, there is a lot of psychology that comes into it and trying to make sure that they understand, what we're geared towards. And it doesn't matter if we beat Louisville or beat Tennessee or UConn. None of that stuff matters non-conference because the reality is we have to win our conference. We have to put ourselves in the regular season to get the best possible seed for the tournament, to put ourselves in the best possible position to win the tournament and get to the NCAAs. And that's really our focus, and that's what we talk about constantly. It's a lot easier when you're winning games non-conference to keep their confidence level high. But, we've got to maintain focus on the process and not the result right now and what we're trying to build toward.
You guys